What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Using My Story. Quick question. Do you ever feel like something has control over you instead of you having control over it? That's the reality for millions of people struggling with addiction. Addiction is a complex and often misunderstood topic. Today, we're going to explore two specific types of addiction that are affecting more and more people every day. So whether you're someone who has experienced addiction yourself, or you're someone who's simply curious to learn more, sit back and get ready to dive into this important topic. First thing we're going to start with is some statistics. According to the National Survey on Drug Use and Health, 20 million people in the United States have a substance use disorder. 20 million people in the United States have a substance use disorder. And while drugs like opioids and meth get a lot of attention, alcohol is actually one of the most commonly abused substances. Alcohol addiction can have devastating effects on a person's life. It's normalized in a lot of areas, a lot of cultures, and a lot of groups of people in society. People treat it as it's normal and it's something that's accepted. But it can have devastating effects on a person's life. So from damaging their relationships to causing health problems like liver disease and cancer. Many of us have people in our families that we've lost, some loved ones that have already gone home that have struggled with alcoholism. So we've all had the direct effects of alcoholism in some shape or another. It's not just adults who are affected. According to the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, over 400,000 young people between the ages of 12 and 17 have an alcohol use disorder. That's almost 500,000 minors, 500,000 teenagers that are already identified to have an alcohol use disorder. Now let's talk about behavioral addiction. This type of addiction doesn't involve substances, but instead it revolves around behaviors that could become compulsive and harmful. Examples of behavioral addictions include gambling, internet and social media use, and gaming. According to the American Psychiatric Association, gambling disorder affects around 2 to 3% of adults in the United States. A survey conducted by the Pew Research Center found that 81% of Americans own a smartphone, with 28% saying they are constantly online. Gaming addiction is also on the rise, with the World Health Organization recognizing it as a disorder in 2018. A study by the Entertainment Software Association found that 214 million people in the United States play video games, and around 15% of gamers exhibit symptoms of addiction. I don't know how many of you play video games or how many of you are parents, but I firsthand have felt the symptoms of gaming addiction. Every time I ask my son to stop playing his video games, he goes into a rage. No, just kidding. But it does get a little on the wild side. You know what I mean? It could start, attitudes start flaring up, people start throwing controllers, all kinds of things can start happening. So what could be done to address this addiction on a serious note? One approach is through therapy or counseling. Cognitive behavioral therapy is a common type of therapy used to treat addiction, which focuses on changing negative thought patterns and behaviors. I want to talk real quick about therapy, and really I want to share about the importance of getting therapy and also the importance of being able to reach out for help. What stops people from being on the part of struggling to actually reaching out for help? A lot of people stay in the area of struggling. Why do people live like this, and why do they continue to suffer in silence instead of reaching out for help? A lot of it goes back to what's called a stigma. People feel like if they reach out for help, they're saying that they're weak. If they reach out for help, they feel like they're admitting that they're crazy or that they need to be locked away, when really these are all just things that are associated with the stigma behind mental health and addiction. But there's really nothing to be concerned about. Everybody needs help in some shape or another. There's nothing to be worried about. If you need help, the best thing you could do is reach out. If you don't like talking on the phone, there's a link in my bio where you could reach out and send me a direct message. You could email me. If you do like to talk on the phone, you can call and we'll figure out some solutions together. Another approach is through medication-assisted treatment. Medications like methadone or buprenorphine can help reduce cravings and withdrawal symptoms for people with opioid addiction. These medications work by binding the same receptors in the brain as opioids, but without producing the same intense high. This can help reduce cravings and prevent withdrawal symptoms. Again, there's no shame in needing help. There's no shame in doing MAT or medically assisted treatment. Some people look down on it, but at the end of the day, they're not the ones that are trying to get the help. It's always easier to judge people by something that they're going through when you haven't walked in their shoes. So there's a whole community of people that applaud you, that support you, that are proud of you, even for just wanting to get help. That's a massive step. So again, feel free to reach out if you're interested in any of those options. Also, it's important to remember that recovery from addiction is a long-term process. There's no one size fits all, but with the right mindset, tools, and support, recovery is always possible. So whether you're struggling with addiction or supporting someone who is, there's a ton of resources available to help you, from therapy and support groups to medication-assisted treatment, holistic treatment. There's so many different options to explore. I want you to remember, addiction is not a personal failure. Seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Together, we can break the stigma surrounding addiction and support those in need. Thank you for watching this video. If you feel it's helpful, give it a thumbs up and a share. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And also, if there's any other topics you want me to go over, let me know in the comments. You can send me a message. If you know someone who's struggling, you can reach out to me. We'll work together to figure out some solutions for them. Or if you yourself are struggling, send me a message and I can always figure out a way to help you. Thanks again for checking in, and let's continue to help people, and let's continue to use our story.